Everybody wants to talk about toxic parents, but nobody wants to talk about toxic kids. We're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about how kids can have unhealthy behavioral habits that can start at any age. In this video, I'm going to discuss 5 toxic traits and unhealthy behaviors that your child may be using so that you can be aware and point them out when you see them. This conversation is needed because a lot of unhealthy behavior in kids gets overlooked just because they're kids. And I think that that's a big issue in society today, and I wanted to address it today in this video. This video isn't about shaming parents or kids. This video is about giving language to toxic behaviors that, when corrected and detected early, it can save your child and the future of you and your child's relationship. Toxic trait number 1 is emotional manipulation. This is the guilt tripping, using parents against one another and using their emotions to get you to do what they want you to do. Kids are super strategic with this one. I have a 4-year-old, so I am well aware of the manipulation that kids come with. So an example of this would be a child crying whenever you don't give them what they want and saying, "You don't love me, you hate me." Whatever it is to pull on your heartstrings to be like, ugh. Okay, you can have it just this one time. That is number 1 in a kid's playbook, to use emotional manipulation on their parents, for sure. So if your child does this, know what it is. Don't give into it. Sometimes it's okay, but sometimes you just got to say no. Don't be manipulated by your child. Toxic trait number 2, and this is big, and I cannot stand it. Toxic trait number 2 is disrespect masked as self-expression. My God. So disrespect labeled as self-expression, for example, is talking crazy with no accountability, disrespecting you with no accountability, no apology, just blatant disrespect. But then whenever you call it out and clock it, it's just, oh, I was just telling you how I feel. I was just expressing myself and my feelings. It's like, no, there's a way to say what you got to say respectfully. Toxic trait number 3 is refusing to take responsibility and accountability. Kids are notorious for this because kids want to blame everybody but them for things going on in their life. An example of this will be wanting to blame parents or everybody else whenever there's a problem, not wanting to do what they know they need to do. For example, you may tell your child to simply clean up their room. Nowadays, if you tell a child to clean up their room, that's considered being too strict, too controlling. Kids these days, they cannot handle being parented. A lot of kids these days don't want to be parented. They just want to do what they want to do, and then they want the parent to just shut up and deal. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm not the one for that. Kids need leadership. They don't need negotiation on everything. And it sucks because a lot of kids don't want leadership. A lot of kids don't want to be parented these days because they're growing up being on social media. They're being influenced by so many outside sources. They just want to do what they want to do. And as a parent, you just can't allow that. Toxic trait number 4 is creating chaos between households. Now, this applies to kids that are split in between households, meaning that the parents are divorced and they spend time with mom and they spend time with dad. The child goes between the two, goes to mom's house and talks about what's happening at dad's house, makes everything seem so horrible, tells you all these things that get you riled up and get your blood boiling, then goes back to the other parent and complains about what life is like at your house and what you didn't let them do, and, just creating chaos and mess. This is a super toxic trait that a lot of kids do. So if you are a parent that deals with that, the best thing to do is to set a boundary with your child. Let your child know, unless something is happening that is detrimental to you, you are unsafe. Don't be bringing no bone back here and getting no mess started and getting me all upset and dragging me into chaos and confusion. Because kids, they do stuff like that. And as parents, we're constantly cleaning up their messes. You see it all the time. Parents fighting behind their kids and what their kids have going on. Our kids can just easily pull us into their mess and their chaos. And so we have to be mature adults and set that boundary and let them know, like, hey, I'm not getting in the mix of the mess. And I'm not saying, like, don't protect your kid and do all those things, because of course your average parent is going to do that naturally. When we're talking about toxic kids that are just constantly creating confusion and always having the parent up at the school going off on teachers and going off on people because your kid has came back and made it seem like they're being abused and mistreated, when behind the scenes they're the ones causing mess due to their bad behavior. Toxic trait number 5 is a big one. Toxic trait number 5 is gaslighting. Gaslighting is when a child makes you think that you said something that you really didn't say, or they twist your words. Like if you say, they're smarter than that, they go out and tell the world that you call them dumb and you verbally abuse them. Things along those lines. Just twisting words, saying that you said things that you know good and well you didn't say, and saying that things happened that didn't happen, just twisting words and twisting events. That is a super toxic trait, and we all know that gaslighting is always associated with narcissism. And narcissists are the most toxic of the toxic. So yes, that is definitely a toxic trait. So if you have a child that does that, prayers, prayers going up, because that definitely sucks and is stressful. If you are dealing with a toxic child, I think the best way to deal is prayers for sure. We have to keep our kids covered in prayer. We have to keep them uplifted, because spiritual warfare out here is real, and the devil is attacking our families. He is attacking our kids to take us down spiritually. So we have to definitely put on the armor of God each and every day and pray over our children. Even if you aren't in relationship with your children, you'll keep them uplifted and covered with prayer. The people all of the time who have problems with their kids, and they have kids that they're disconnected from, is so common today. It's so common today. And I just think it's because a spiritual warfare and just the devil's tactics to break apart homes. And on top of that, kids, like I said earlier, a lot of kids don't want to be parented. They want to do what they want to do. They want to go to the household where they get the most freedom and they get the most things. Thinking about having structure, they're not thinking about what is best for them. They just want what they want. They want to do what they want to do. They want to have the things that they want to have. So anyone that's dealing with a toxic child and or has a toxic household, definitely just pray. Pray over your children, pray over your household, and trust that God will take care of the situation. That's really the best you can do. If you have a toxic child, then, in most cases, you just have to deal with that and figure out a way to navigate through that. So I recommend just having heart-to-heart conversations, letting your child know that whatever toxic behavior they're exhibiting isn't the way to go, isn't right by God. It would be very helpful if you can read the book of Proverbs with your child, especially if they're a teen. That is a book of wisdom. And so it teaches kids how to be and how not to be in the eyes of God. And it's just all the way around wisdom. So if your kid is old enough to read, then I definitely recommend reading a book of Proverbs a day. On TikTok, I follow a girl named Gia, Jhia. She reads from the book of Proverbs every night at 8 p.m. So I recommend that you get in on that Bible study, because it's amazing. So thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you stay tuned, like and subscribe, do all the things, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Peace. Yeah.